YouTube Star Wars Galaxy Hero players, this is HK858, and today I'm going to do a top 10 video. I'm going to do the top 10 tanks of the game. However, I will say some of them, well, a lot of these tanks are more of my personal favorites, as well as how viable they are as well. From my past experiences, as well as seeing how they've fared in the meta and other videos that other people have posted. And I will say a couple of these slots I'm going to be cheating where they kind of pair together, where I have like two in one slot. But you'll get to see what I mean. So, I'm going to go ahead and get started. And if you like what you see, let me know. Okay, so like I said, I have all the tanks here. So I'm going to start off with number 10, and that is Gar Saxon. As a Mandalorian, well, he's more past in the past, more Death Watch, but he is Mandalorian, and he's part of the Empire. He's a tank, which is really interesting. You think he'd be an attacker, which probably would suit him better, but I think they made him a tank so he wouldn't be so overpowered with his having 100% chance to assist kind of thing. And I can still see Gar Saxon making it into the meta because Darth Maul's kind of backed away. However, if he makes it back in, that might actually make it to where Darth Maul comes back in. As well as Rex has been in the meta for a while. So, but yeah, number 10 is Gar Saxon. Number 9 is Scarif Pathfinder. He's a really unique tank from Rogue One. The time that they brought out Rogue One characters. He is also in ship. He also has a ship, which, as you can tell, I've worked more on him than Baston. Him and Baston's ship. But yeah, he's a very unique character, as where he actually, if he dies, as long as he has at least a buff, he revives with 15% max health and 20% turn meter for each living rebel ally. So he could die, come back, and attack right away. Maybe even throwing up the taunt, depending on if he's on a really good rebel buffing team. I know there's a lot of people that dislike him. He's just not that great. I always preferred him over Stormtrooper Han, which also I will make a nod that he is also tied at this spot at number 9. Being the fact that a lot of people love Stormtrooper Han because of his taunt ability, and then whenever he taunt, and all allies gain 30% turn meter. In addition, all other allies gain 20% turn meter when Han is damaged. So he's constantly giving turn meter. It's just me personally, I do like tanks with more survivability, and Stormtrooper Han is like, really doesn't have the best of survivability. He taunts, speeds everyone up for a few turns and dies, and then just keeps going. Whereas I could still say Scarif Pathfinder also kind of does something similar, where he does give turn meter. All allies get 15% turn meter when he does with his basic. And then when he dies, he speeds everyone up with speed up for 2 turns, which is really nice. Sometimes there have been some teams where I've used wigs. Because I don't have bays yet. I'm still working on bays. But I've used wigs with Stormtrooper Hound, Scarif Pathfinder, and then one other character like Akbar or something like that. And it's actually worked pretty well on teams that I've used them on. So, yeah, that is number 9. Number 8 is both Stormtrooper and First Order Stormtrooper. The reason why I put these at number 8 is because they do their best job in their respective factions. Stormtrooper and Imperial Trooper teams and Empire teams, being able to taunt, give defense up, removes 10% turn meter from each enemy whenever he is damaged while taunting. Kind of does the opposite of Stormtrooper Han, where he slows the opposing team down. And since the rework of both Stormtroopers, they've become a lot more viable. Especially since there are times where you do see Stormtrooper along with Shore Trooper in some Empire teams. Whoops, that's the wrong Stormtrooper I wanted to click on. And then First Order Stormtrooper has a counter chance and has a lot more viability with a Zeta on a First Order team. But he's still nonetheless a taunting tank. Also, with the rules of these tanks, I I forgot to mention that with the rule of these tanks, it is going to be anything with taunting or multi-purpose, like I did with Gar Saxon. And number 7 is none other than a non-taunting tank, Fives. He is another viable character. He's really he's really great on a counterattack team and a clone team. He is very good on a clone team. He's mostly seen on clone teams with either Commander Cody lead or Rex lead. So he's very useful. His basic allows him to attack again as long as the opponent has speed down, which is really nice. He also gives speed down on his basic. He does a combined fire where he calls in an ally to assist. That's really great as a tank. And his leader ability is meh on par. It could be updated whenever they do a clone faction pass. And then, obviously, his Zeta, where he is 85% counter chance, 50% counter damage. Okay, there. And then gains 15% turn meter with another clone ally takes damage. And 7.5% turn meter wherever he gains a non-clone ally takes damage. So basically, he's given himself turn meter whenever people are taking damage. And that is a really good character to have. Number 6 is one of my personal favorite droid tanks. Is K2SO. I use K2SO on different teams, droid teams between raids and also like the Ewok event. I beat this event with nothing but a droid team. Obviously, it also shows that in 3 days it's going to have another event, so I'm going to try showing you what the droid team I use is capable of. Let's go back down to tanks. But for the most part, K2SO I really enjoy. I really like his type of taunting effect. He has a 75% chance to taunt whenever he attacks. And he also has a counter chance, which is really phenomenal. Yes, dazed does shut him down. However, outside of dazed, if he's not dazed or stunned, he's going to be counterattacking and taunting, where he's going to keep taunt up. On a droid team, R2-D2 also helps him taunt. I just wish he would do a similar ability to B2, where he also has a dispel on like one of his basic. But for the most part, he is really a great tank as a droid. Granted, on a normal meta droid team, he's not used as much because B2 outshines him on the dispelling. So yeah, that's a sad thing about that. But outside of that, I still think he's a great tank. Yes, I don't have him Zetaed. I probably won't Zeta him until I Zeta probably 5 to 6 other characters. Like, I'm still working on my first one, and that's obviously going to be R2-D2. But yeah, that is K2SO. And number 5, we have 2 tanks in this spot. The Royal Guard and Sith Trooper. I could also probably see Sith Trooper also in number 8 spot with Stormtrooper and First Order Stormtrooper. Because let me go over to Sith Trooper really quickly. Where did I put him? Oh, there he is. Right below. Sith Trooper is best on a Sith team only. Because he starts off with defense up, but he also gains taunt if a Sith uses a special ability or falls below 50% health, as well as gains retribution. So yeah, he's really there, but I really like putting him with Royal Guard because they both do service some interesting interesting roles. Royal Guard is really more flexible than Sith Trooper. The reason why I actually put Sith Trooper at number 5 is because I really enjoy using him on my Sith team that I use for Galactic War. And in Royal Guard, you've got him set up for raising defense. He doesn't taunt automatically. He actually taunts whenever a ally falls below 50% health. Anytime that happens, he's going to taunt for a turn. Yes, he could still use a rework. I'm surprised they didn't do it with the Empire Faction Pass. He could have used a rework and taunt for when Emperor Palpatine is out. But outside of that, he's a great tank. He stuns on his basic, and he also applies speed down. He works really good with fives if you have fives with him. Oh, let me apply speed down. And then anytime fives needs to counter, he's already got that. Speed down. Number 4 is none other than the droid tank B2. Yes, B2 is higher than K2SO because he's more viable. He's actually pulled me out of a ton of situations. Don't get me wrong, K2SO has as well in Galactic War, as well as B2. But B2, I've actually took him off of a droid team just to throw him in a different team. Because I had an issue with Chase teams running into Galactic War. And he, along with like Fett and Sunfac, really helped get enough dispel so that I can actually kill a couple of the characters before I brought in another squad to finish up. And so, yeah, he's really great. He doesn't taunt. And like I said earlier, this is a multi-purpose role, as well as he gains turn meter, has a 40% chance to gain turn meter, 100% turn meter whenever another ally evades or is damaged by an attack, which is great. So if someone evades on your team, if you have a really good evasive team, B2 is going to be dishing out a lot of damage. He doesn't do a lot of damage, to be honest, but he's going to be using his heavy arms, inflicting evasion down, and he's also going to do mode down, which dispels all debuffs and has a 65% chance to inflict buff immunity for 2 turns. Really great tank on that part. Number 3 is Sunfac. I know some people would probably swap these because Sunfac isn't as used as much, but I really like his durability. I like his counterattack, how he can actually heal from negative status effects. He taunts, obviously. I still think he could also taunt for a 3rd turn, but he only taunts for 2 turns. He has another ability where he recovers 25% max health if the target is suffering any negative status effects. So he can basically self-heal without actually using the ability to self-heal, like Chewbacca would. Superiority. He has a 50% counter chance. He can easily be zated, and if he ever is zated, I bet they'll raise up his counter chance, which would be great for him. But yeah, he's a really great tank if you want to use him, since now you can farm him through ships. And number 2 is Shore Trooper. I like Shore Trooper. Ever since Shore Trooper and Scarif Pathfinder came out, I always loved Shore Trooper more. The auto taunt, the healing of a team. Because back in the day, I had a team where it was kind of a weird, wacky team, but I used Akbar as lead, just so that he can get speed up and he can be the bonus attacking character. I had Chewbacca, Royal Guard, Old Daka, and Luminara. That was my team for the longest time, until I started getting like my Wigs, the Wigs teams I had recently, and then now the current team I have. These teams that team was really fun. It was so durable. I'd always keep healing. If anyone died, I'd revive them. And especially with Luminara, I know Bears could have been better in a sense because of dispelling negative status effects, but that was the only problem. But because I also had Akbar, I always had that dispel effect. So I was always dispelling, especially in Galactic War. That was always fun to just run through the Galactic War with this team. Before, more characters have been added and has made Galactic War a little tougher for me. So I don't even run that. I run a Nihilist-led team, but I had always wanted a Shore Trooper in place of Storm, instead of Chewbacca, because I had the heal. I had the group heal on top of taunting, on top of giving critical hit immunity, as well as Royal Guard would also be able to use his defense up, and it would also help heal Shore Troopers. So I was always all about, back before I started paying attention to the meta, I'd love actually trying to make it to where I make a very durable team. Of course, Chase beats that by far. But yeah, this is number 2. And number 1 is going to be another tie. Actually, number 1 is going to be Mob Enforcer. I'm just kidding. No, number 1 is really the mixture of General Kenobi and Baze Malbus. Of course, none of them are unlocked yet, and you can tell I'm working on Baze Malbus right now. Baze Malbus, ever since I seen him, I was like, oh man, I thought, after I saw him, I thought of another team. Even though it probably wouldn't be as powerful. Akbar with Baze Malbus, Chirrut Imwe. So that's 3 right there. And I always played different thoughts on having like a Scarif Pathfinder or Stormtrooper Han, and then with the other one being like Princess Leia or some other character added in for like high damage. And, I've always thought of trying to build that team, but I absolutely have not been able to. But yeah, Baze Malbus, great auto, the best. I debated on making it to where General Kenobi was number 2. But Baze Malbus is, I would say he's probably the most durable character in the game, especially if you pair him with Chirrut. However, there are teams where they don't use Chirrut and they only use Baze just for his auto taunt, his dispelling, his 2 abilities that dispel. He's very, very durable, very durable. And then you got General Kenobi, which he's maybe not as durable, but he still taunts by whenever a character critically hits an ally. He also cleanses, which makes him really viable. And that's why you see him in a lot of top meta teams. So yeah, this is my and these are my number 1, my top 10, even though it's 1, 2, 10, 11, 12, 13. Could have done a top 15 almost. 14. Yeah, I would have only done top 14. But nonetheless, there's my top 10 picks for tanks in the game. And I do want to show my current Shard Arena really quick. And currently, I've been seeing a bunch of this fluctuation. Man, like 3 weeks ago, I saw at least Darth Maul. Now it's like first Darth Maul is at 21. Wow, that's kind of sad. Darth Maul has dropped off, but Rex is still really high. We got this team here at number 1 on my rank. That's pretty dang good. Tarkin, Thrawn, Shore Trooper, Director Krennic, and Death Trooper. That's an Empire team, to no doubt. Then you got these Jedi teams with Ahsoka. Whoa, that one's nice. Yeah, Yoda spreading stuff around Ahsoka. Yeah, even though Ahsoka is not a Jedi, but she will still use her meditate. But yeah, this is just what I have, the top 50. You can see I'm not going to click on every one. That would just take too long. I do like doing this once in a while to actually see unique characters. Like back when Maul's Zeta was around, or Zeta Maul meta was around, I actually saw a Plo Koon in the top 10. A leader of Plo Koon. Plo Koon was the weakest of the 5, but it had some other Jedi like General Kenobi. Let's see, Rogue One. Yep. Oh, that's an interesting Rogue One team. Everyone's a rebel. But yeah, it was a Plo Koon lead. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. And then it disappeared and haven't seen it since. Especially since the meta shifted so differently. But yes, that is what I'm going to talk about. You guys have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys' favorite tanks are, and have a wonderful day.